May 19th session of the Clinton Mayor and Board of Aldermen. We will get started this evening with the invocation by Alderman Oliver and the Pledge of Allegiance by Alderman Long. Please rise.
Please bow your heads. Dear Lord, thank you so much for this day and every day you give us. And thank you for dying on the cross to save us of our sins. Please be with all our city employees. Thank you for all their hard work, and please be with them as they do their work, keeping them safe. Dear Lord, please be with us as we make decisions tonight, and let us make them in your glory and in your name. In Jesus Christ's name we pray, amen.
Everyone face the flag, join me in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderman Chapman. Present. Alderman Godfrey.
Present.
Alderwoman McSperry.
Here.
Alderwoman Jones.
Here.
Alderman Wilbanks.
Here.
Alderwoman Oliver.
Present.
Alderman Watt.
Here.
Attorney Josiah Burns. Here. And Presiding Mayor Will Purdie.
All right, thank you. We do have one recognition this evening, and we would like to recognize the National EMS Week. This is the 52nd annual observance of EMS Week, which honors the life-saving contributions of emergency medical technicians, paramedics, and other out-of-hospital medical care providers. This year's theme is improving outcomes together, and will highlight multidisciplinary teamwork and partnerships between 911 dispatchers, law enforcement, public health, and hospital staff. And specifically here in Clinton, we have 42 EMTs with another 5 currently enrolled in EMT school, which I think is pretty impressive. And then 5 paramedics with another 2 currently enrolled in paramedic school. And we have some of our paramedics and firefighters with us this evening tonight. I'd love it if you guys want to come up and take a picture with us, and we appreciate your service. Alderman McSperry has been organizing some events for this week. Did you have anything you'd like to add?
Well, I work for a hospital, and I see every day how important our firefighters, our EMTs, our paramedics are to save lives. And so I just really thank you all for what you do. You showed up when my dad had a heart attack. You took care of my family. And so I know how important you are to this community. And I see it throughout the state, but particularly you make a big difference here. And we appreciate it.
Absolutely. Anybody else? Yeah, come on up for us if you don't mind. You spring it on them. They wouldn't have shown up. We told them they had to take a picture. That's the last minute piece of information to give. You should say problem. Watch your hands move.
I'm not hurt.
You got me.
Okay. We can act like y'all like each other. Yeah. Okay, you come down here by Chief.
Squat now.
All right. Let's take a couple. Somebody's gonna have their eye closed or something. Okay. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks again, guys. That's good.
Thanks, you guys.
All right, we will move on to approval of the consent agenda. Do I have any discussion or motion there?
I move to approve items 6A through B. Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. All right, department head report tonight is from Mr. Marley Price Cook, our Director of Communications.
Swapping out. I would try to do that and this at the same time, but that would not be good. Good evening. It's been about 6 months since I've been in front of you, so I'm really excited to be here tonight. As we know, the Department of Communications is a one-person team, but we touch every part of the city, and I'm really excited to show you what reaching thousands of residents in the city of Clinton looks like and what we've been accomplishing over the last 6 months. And I say the word we a lot because it's just really awkward to say I. So first, we'll start with the numbers that are the hardest to ignore. Over the last 6 months, the City of Clinton's social media platforms have generated over 1.7 million total views across Facebook and Instagram combined. Now, if we take that a little bit farther and we break it down by platform, Facebook remains our primary engagement tool. On Facebook alone, our content has reached more than 212 unique viewers. Those are individual people who saw content and interacted with a piece of content from the city. We have gained 817 new followers, logged 50,700 page visits, and residents have clicked through to city information 2,400 times. Now that means if I have posted a piece of content that had a link that sent them somewhere else, they have clicked through on that content 2,400 times. On Instagram, we have reached 178,500 people, views, 19,600 people, 5,100 content interactions, and gained 358 new followers, which is quite an achievement for Instagram because that's still a platform that we're figuring out how to gauge. Next, we'll move on to some of our top posts. But before I do that, I want to provide some important context on social media performance. Some of our two highest performing posts of the entire period were when we had a missing child alert and a search for a suspect. Those posts generated extraordinary reach, and that is not surprising because content involving public safety always does extremely well, and it has highest engagement across all platforms because people share it instinctively and urgently. The algorithm rewards that behavior with even wider distribution, and it would be easy to claim those numbers as a communications win, but that does not paint the full picture. And that is why I chose these three to highlight from the past 6 months. The first is one of our most liked posts. This was the Mississippi College mock crime scene investigation on Monroe Street. It reached over 48,000 people, received 429 likes with 23 shares. That was just a really random morning. I got to the office and Brianna was like, there's crime scene tape on Monroe Street. And I'm like, what? So run over there, took a picture, and I was really flabbergasted by the engagement. I used the words carry on Clinton, and the news grabbed onto that, and I was watching the news later, and they had taken our post and were kind of spoofing off of that carry on Clinton. Our next post reached 49,900 people with 299 likes and 37 shares. That was our Red Brick Roads countdown. That's just an obvious engagement. And our most saved post reached over 33,000 people and generated 23 saves, which was our spring citywide cleanup awareness post. And those saves matter because that not only says that they resonated with that content, but they found it important enough to come back to. Next, I want to be very transparent about a challenge that I navigated recently. And this was my first time in almost 4 years to have to approach a situation like this. One of my standing commitments is to produce a quarterly educational campaign. For the first quarter of 2026, my focus was to be on the development in Clinton. I had much of the content prepared, and then we learned there was a potential data center project being explored in the city of Clinton. At that stage, we did not have enough information to accurately incorporate the project into the campaign content. I made the decision to pause the rollout because I felt that publishing development-related content while omitting a project of that scale, even unintentionally, and due to evolving information, could have created the perception that information was being withheld. As more information became available and public discussion around the project increased, the mayor's public statement addressing resident concerns became the centerpiece of that communication strategy for the quarter. The post became the single highest performing post of the entire 6-month period, with over 54,000 views, 22,000 unique viewers, and 288 interaction. We also gained 20 new followers just from that piece of content. The decision to slow down, pivot, and lead with honesty is exactly what the kind of judgment this department brings to work every day, because we believe transparency is not just a value, it's a strategy. So that was something that we navigated in this last 6 months that at first I felt guilty because I knew I needed to put something out there because I have committed to it every quarter. But I wanted to be honest and I wanted to be transparent because I believe that's a value that our citizens trust. Moving on to our website analytics, we had 51,000 active users and 158,000 page views during this period. Nearly every visitor, 49,000 of them, was a brand new user, meaning the website is consistently reaching residents who haven't been there before. The average engagement time was 49 seconds, which tells us that people aren't bouncing off the page, they're actually reading the content. Our most visited pages were obviously the pay online and public works, which means that people are coming to our website to do city business. I also want to highlight something that doesn't seem like a really big number, but it speaks to what the department does on a day-to-day basis. In the last 6 months, we have received over 180 contact us inquiries. And those are emails that come specifically to me that I engage with the public, and I either respond immediately or reach out to a department head so that I can get accurate information and then respond to the residents. So that is another point of contact for our residents in the city of Clinton with the city itself. Building on that engagement, in the next quarter, I'll be working with ITI Digital to implement a dynamic site map that will allow events, locations, and other platform content to appear more effectively in organic Google searches. So that when people are on Google and they're searching Chick-fil-A, that the places content that's on our website will pop up and it will bring them to our website organically. Next, I'd like to highlight the city's Text My Gov platform. We currently have over 1,900 users. So my goal is 2,000 by the end of the year, and we are 95% of the way there. Now, there are 2 ways that residents can currently interact with Text My Gov. That is the 91896 alerts. And moving forward through the rest of the year, I'm going to focus more on the 10-digit code, which is that 488-3563, that residents can use to actually chat with the city, even after hours. One of my goals coming up in this next quarter is that we are going to have a civic engagement booth at one of the Fresh at 5 markets where people can come up and we'll talk about Text My Gov, the newsletter, all the ways that they can stay connected with the city of Clinton. And that is where I'll start to push out that 10-digit number, because it's hard enough to explain the concept of texting the word Clinton to 91896, but having to explain a 10-digit number that you can communicate with the city of Clinton probably needs someone there to do so. Next, we have the city newsletter. We have 4,834 subscribers, and our open rate is 62.5%, which is crazy. I was telling someone that earlier, and they were like, that's a lot. And I was like, but it's not. It seems like a lot because the industry average is 25 to 30. So we are more than 2% higher than the industry average consecutively every month. And you'll see the last 6-month breakdown. In February, obviously, people were really excited. It's 67%. That also means 2 out of every 3 people who receive the newsletter open it. Next, I'm going to talk about the Clinton Christmas Light Tour, where we partnered with the Clinton Courier. I think I mentioned this last time I was here at the beginning of November, and I was working with this. During this campaign, people could go on our website, interact with an itinerary. I believe there was 3 or 4, and it would take them around the city of Clinton from point A to point B to look at Christmas lights. The Clinton Courier collected the addresses and the participants, and then I put them into the itinerary. We had over 7,600 page views, 1,500 active users, and over 13,000 interactions. And those other interactions are so high because there were so many different avenues that you could choose in parts of the city, but it shows us that people were coming back and going on more than one route, which is really interesting. For that to be the first time that we've done something with that and a partner outside the city and had people interact with our website in a different way, I was impressed with the feedback. Next, this is just work across the city of Clinton. It's just how I work with other departments in the last 6 months. I worked with Brianna to create a logo and the branding and an online form for the Mayor's Youth Council. I did the poster, the promotional graphics, and all the marketing for Red Brick Roads. Recently, I worked with Chandra to bring her liability waiver online, eliminating the need for paper forms. And then I worked with Courtney in a lot of areas for Red Brick, nope, not Red Brick Roads, Red, White, and Blue Fest, making her online forms more seamless. And then I'm not sure if some of you have seen this, but this is my proudest achievement in the last six months, is building this landing page from scratch. It's the first time I've ever done anything like this, but the 2% Parks and Recreation tax is special, and I wanted something special to reflect that. I'm not sure if you have been to clintonms.org /2, the word %, because you can't put a % sign in a URL. I did learn that. But this was a way that we are educating people on the special election on June 9th. We talk about how the funds were collected, how the taxes are used, and then we highlight the projects that Courtney has already accomplished with the taxes that we have collected in the last 4 years. So if you're planning on going out and educating people between now and June 9th, this would be a great resource to show people.
How are you getting that out?
That has been on our Facebook, and it's going in the newsletter. And then closer to time, I will put it in a Text My Gov text. And then goals for the next 6 months. Grow digital audience is always a goal, just because that's more people engaging. Refine communication plans. I am in the works of creating a communication crisis protocol, as well as a generic everyday communications. It's this thick. Brianna has it. It looks like she's murdered it. It's got red ink all over it. But there will be, once we get to the final stages before it's implemented, there's a large portion for the board and how I will communicate with you, not just on an everyday basis, but especially in times of crisis. So that will be something I would definitely want your feedback for. The website, we have talked about one of my main goals for the year is to update the website. That is something that we have worked through, but is also being entertained where we may completely redo the website from scratch. Instead of just updating what we currently have, which will also be working with the ADA compliance to ensure that we have reached that benchmark by April of 2027. And then to expand relationships with not just the media, but I think I need to touch the local businesses and things like that, just because that's where I get a lot of my content, what people want to know more about, or kind of where our gaps are, is the relationships that I build with the community. So I really appreciate your time. If there's any questions you have for me, I'd love to answer them.
Great job.
Very impressive.
Yes, very good.
Fantastic.
Thank
Yes.
you. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Bob. All righty, moving to the discussion action items. Item 8A, appointment of MML 2026 voting delegate, Mr. Baldry, our city clerk.
Thank you, Mayor. Each year as we attend the MML convention in Biloxi, we're asked to provide 2 voting delegates, a primary and then a backup. And what we've done the last few years is we've had the mayor serve as the voting delegate for the city. And then we've just alternated through the aldermen, 1 ward at a time. So next up would be Ms. McSparron as the backup for the mayor being as the primary voting delegate. So we just need to formalize this so I can submit it to MML.
Move to approve.
Second.
All right, we have a motion second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item 8B, acceptance of selection committee recommendation and appointment of WGK Inc. to provide engineering services related to the 2026 CDBG Briars project. This will be Mr. Baldry as well.
On this item, it may prove that this is a moot point, but we've been working for some time, with CMPDD on a block grant application. Philip has done a lot of work in the Briars neighborhood trying to get this project off the ground. And one of the things that they asked us to do was to re-up our contract for engineering services on this project. This is just formalizing that and putting WGK back as the engineer. They've served for over a year as we started this process. And so with your approval, we just want to reappoint them.
Move to approve.
Second.
Have a motion second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item 8C is approval for the Clinton Police Department to allow Officer Dickerson, to retain his service firearm at the listed serial number for $1 pursuant to Mississippi Code 45-9-131 upon his retirement on June 30, 2026. Chief Allen.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I should have had this for you last meeting. It was a failure on my part, but Roy's been around for 28 years of service and he is ready to move on to the next thing. So he's been a really good officer. I've known him for a long time. Wish him the best in his retirement.
Me too.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
This is the second one in a row. Are we losing everybody?
I'm hoping I think this is it for this year.
We're like, we don't like the retirement.
That's right.
Which, congratulations.
We knew these were long planned, unfortunately. All right, item 8E is approval of the lowest and best quote from Stevens TPS Inc. in the amount of $18,000, skip D. Approval for the Clinton Police Department to purchase taser products from Exxon at state contract pricing for $10,419 for 5 tasers, 50 cartridges, and 10 batteries. Chief Amos with it.
It's time. I'm getting low on them. I've got a couple of officers who are not carrying them at the moment that need them. And we've had a couple fail and it's just time for supplies and they are expensive. This is money that's in the budget, not necessarily in the budget, but it's in the budget because our sale of firearms at the auction that we did the evidence turnover. And then we've had donations this year. That's you combine those two monies, that's almost $24,000. So
Move to
there's money here for this project.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item 8E now is approval of the lowest and best quote from Stevens TPS Inc. in the amount of $18,000 for sandblasting and retaining booster station hydro-pneumatic tank. Philip Willie, our Director of Public Works.
I thought I dodged the bullet when you switched them up with Chief. He probably would have been a better presenter than I would. Long story short, in a nutshell, over in College Hills up Spring Ridge Road, we do have a mechanism there that helps us keep pressure going uphill. Well, part of that mechanism, there's a large tank there that's pressurized. That tank is pretty corroded on the inside. So with your approval, we'll get everything sandblasted and recoated on the inside and the outside and keep that A+ that we got with the health department last year.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item 8F, approve acceptance of bids received for the 2026 street paving improvements to Adkemp Inc. in the amount of $827,547.40. Allowance of appropriate construction contingency and for the mayor to execute all documents required for the project improvements. Mr. Lilly.
Thank you. As you can see, and as the mayor said, these numbers came in way lower than we anticipated. I believe WGK estimated that the price was going to be about $117 $11,000 more, a little bit over that. I think we did have about four bidders. Hopefully, once we get paving, we won't have any issues and we'll have some money left over.
Will we go to the next streets, or that a discussion we'll have?
Yeah, that's a discussion we'll have. Certainly that's one option. Others we've kind of preliminarily talked about is we've got some areas that are really in need of some restriping. So, but it will be on the streets. Pavement or pavement markings would be at least my recommendation for it.
Will the 827 this time include striping of the streets that we're repaving that needed?
Yes, that includes striping of the streets that are being repaved.
Okay.
This would be striping in other areas that are in bad shape.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Item 8G is a resolution for unkept property located at 1003 Tanglewood Drive. Trevor, Community Development will discuss this.
Thank you, Mayor, Board. This is the location on there. We're just seeking a resolution declaring that this property in its present condition and state of uncleanliness to be administered to the public health and safety of the community on there. And then also to direct the Director of Community Development to take such actions as is appropriate under sections 21, 19, 11 of our Mississippi Code on there. The notice was posted on the property as required and at City Hall, as well as a letter was mailed to the address shown on the Hinds County land roll. And this property is not shown on the Secretary of State's tax forfeit list at this time, though it has taxes have not been paid in the last 2 years.
Strawberry needs mowing.
Yes.
Move to approve. Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
Thank y'all.
We have just a few employees tonight. Item 9A is approval for the fire department to hire 2 untrained firefighters pending completion of the hiring process at the starting salary listed. Have a motion or any questions about that?
Move to approve. Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
As a chief, how many will we have? Yes. How many? Do what with these 2?
57 or 58.
Good job, you.
Absolutely.
How many were sitting at untrained? Is it still just these 2, or is there a small handful?
Yeah, it's a smaller hand, probably close to 10.
Item 9B is approval of hiring a traffic control technician for the Public Works Department at the listed salary.
Move to approve.
Second.
A motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carried. Item 9C is a reclassification. We have a worker moving from one job to another. So he will be moving from heavy equipment operator to maintenance worker 2 at the listed salary.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. And then lastly for this, 9D is approval to hire a grounds technician pending completion of the hiring process.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed, excuse me. Motion carries. We do have a couple of quick matters of other business this evening. The first one pertains to the fourplex bid that just went out. We have Courtney here. She can explain in more detail, but essentially, as happens in projects of this kind, when they got in there, the water pipe needed to be a thicker gauge is the short version of it, so we need to do a change order. But Courtney, go ahead.
Yeah, so as all projects, things come up that you don't really know about. It was assumed that that there was already PVC pipe when these specs were put together. But being that I guess the area is just that old, there was a metal pipe, and so it's close to a water main tie-in. And so it has been recommended by Public Works and our engineer to make that a thicker pipe and go with a PVC versus the metal, and the increase for that would be $12,369.34.
That's some kind of pipe.
Some kind of pipe. It's got magic in it.
They better come.
But it's a good bit of pipe. It's a long one.
We have a motion and second. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
When did it start?
Yeah, so that has been the holdup with they found the pipe, also, just kind of locating a lot of the lines before they start dropping. The rain has kind of put us back. They didn't want to start demoing this week and then have a mud pit. And so if everything goes right for next week, we're thinking probably Tuesday, Wednesday, the rain should stop somewhere around that time. But I'm ready to see it hit the ground. So we'll make sure they're going to give us a heads up on it so that we can post and let people know if they want to watch it. Bring your popcorn. Thank you.
And then the other item we had was a property issue the city attorney's going to discuss for us.
Yeah, and that's what we talked about yesterday at the work session. We have a small 10-foot sliver of land, so to speak, over near Wayne Street that really has no value at all to the city. And so hasn't been used by the city in years. Frankly, we didn't really know that we own it and can't really figure out how we own it, but the tax assessor's office shows that we own it. I think it's even less than a 1/100th of an acre. There's a special statute that allows us to do whatever we want with it. We can declare it to have no value, and it doesn't have any value. So it's been proposed. It came up because there's the property owner that's been maintaining that strip is selling the land to a buyer, and so the proposal is to go ahead and just deed that to the buyer concurrent with the sale. So that's what we've got.
My understanding, that's not only access to the property, that is the access to the property being sold.
That's right, and that's the access as well. So we have an ordinance. I'm happy to see it, but that's everything I just said is basically what's in the ordinance. So that I've proposed.
Move to approve.
A motion to second. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries. Do we have any other business to come before the city this evening?
Move to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
All right. All those in favor? We are adjourned. Thank you.